We have made it! Episode 2 of the Huddle with Boy Green and Connor is here. We know the Jets have Breece Hall, but after that, we have rookies. We have Tariq Cohen. What should Jet fans expect out of the Jets running back room in 2024 behind Breece Hall? Let's roll.
J-E-T-S, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
Welcome in everyone. We did get off to a little late start. It's a special PM edition of In the Huddle with Boy Green and Connor. Boy Green, how you doing today?
You know, the fact that we have a second episode means we survived. What a brilliant debut it was last week, and we're back, baby, so it's awesome.
Really happy to be back for episode 2 of the Huddle. Like I said, today we're most likely going to be focusing on running back room. What do we expect out of Breece Hall? So you ready to dive right into it?
Let's go, baby.
So, we all know we have star running back Breece Hall. He's emerged as a top back, after his first fully healthy season in the league, if you really think about it. His season was cut short in 2022 due to an ACL tear. So, we saw him last year, and, Mike Clay of ESPN has huge aspirations for Hall. Thomas Valentine of PFF ranked him as the 7th running back in the league. Boy Green, what do you think we could expect out of Hall on the ground and in the air?
I think all that and more. Last year, he was top 5 in the league in scrimmage yards. Regardless of position, he was spectacular running the football, catching the football out of the backfield. It was the second most prolific receiving season in Jets franchise history, but it's the rushing that needs to reach another level. As you mentioned, he was compromising year number 1 with the torn ACL, appeared in all 17 this past season. However, he hasn't gotten over 1,000 yards rushing in either of those years. So that's really a thing that has to be unlocked for Breece Hall, is becoming that dynamic rusher on a consistent basis. Jake Gasman here on the friggin' live show. It's beautiful, and all the wonderful, beautiful people that are joining us here. And a beautiful person I hope we're rooting for that's going to be among the top picks in fantasy football land, of course, is Breece Gosh darn Hall, baby. So reaching that Christian McCaffrey level, he has to have that truly elite season. You could say the same thing for Garrett Wilson to be considered among the best of the best.
Yeah, so, Jet fans have big aspirations for Hall. They expect big things, as they should. And with a revamped offensive line, I think Hall is going to have a great year. I mean, look at these numbers, like you mentioned, the receiving yardage. Look at these numbers that he's producing last season with such low-level offensive line play. Now the Jets signed Tyron. They traded for Morgan Moses, signed John Simpson, signed Tyron Smith, drafted Olu Fashanu. I think we should expect, like we said, big things out of Hall. But after Hall, like I said, good amount of question marks. What should we expect? Jets draft Braylon Allen, a power back out of Wisconsin, in the 4th round of the NFL draft this year. They double up. They draft Isaiah Davis in the 5th round of the draft. Then it does not stop there. They sign Tariq Cohen, and, a name who was with the Jets last year who's still here is Izzy Abanikanda. After that, we'll start with Allen, as he's expected to be the running back too. What do you think we should expect out of Allen in terms of, physique? I think he's going to be a really fun player to watch just based on, his size and ability.
Yeah, again, the initial drafting of him, I liked. He was a player that was intriguing, obviously the youngest player in the draft. He had upside. He had early success in his college career, but when a schematic change happened, less success. And a lot of people questioned that part of it for Braylon. He slips all the way to late 4th round. Remember, the Jets had several picks in the 4th round, but the one that they ended up with after all the trades was pick 134, which is basically a 5th round draft choice. So they got him super late. But I listened to Nathaniel Hackett earlier today on the Official Jets podcast, and he tempered expectations for, quite frankly, any rookie of all time. He made that very clear. But in particular, a lot of the young running backs, he said, okay, they're youngsters. They got to figure out kind of their way in the NFL. So Braylon, I think he's going to bring some juice. And the first thing we could see minimal is power back, short yardage situations, and truly that closer. Because I heard Kyle Shanahan also today. He spoke about Christian McCaffrey and saving him from himself, so Christian's not getting run into the ground. And to kind of take a page out of that playbook, it's kind of the same thing for Breece in a different way. When you have 7 minutes left in the game and you're up 14, you need somebody to grind out the rest of that. Does it have to be Breece? Can it be a balance? Can some of those carries go to other guys on the roster? I think that's part of the evolution too for Breece and the rest of the group. But specifically for Braylon, he did show some pass catching prowess, which again, he had under 50 receptions during his entire collegiate career at Wisconsin. So that's a part of his game that seems fascinating based on what we saw during the spring.
Yeah, you mentioned Braylon Allen having under 50 receptions at Wisconsin. He finished his career at Wisconsin with 278 yards and 0 touchdowns. But, throughout minicamp and OTAs, there have been reports that, his pass catching has looked somewhat promising. But yeah, I agree. I think Braylon Allen, expect a lot of power. I think he's going to be a really fun guy to watch. I think he's literally going to bulldoze through guys. And that's what I hope we see out of Allen when he gets on the field. But moving after Allen, like I said, the Jets select Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State, in the 5th round. He's a really interesting player where it really depends, I think, on performance week to week for a guy like Davis to see where he ends up falling on the depth chart. Where do you think we could see Davis? Do you think he has a chance to beat out Allen for some reps?
I don't know if I would go that far with Isaiah, but what I would say is Connor Hughes of SNY. I think I have the podcast right.
Yeah.
This is a new Jets podcast that I've been listening to. Just listened to the first episode of me to them. I think it's JetCast with Pat. I think that was the first episode I heard with Connor. And Connor told Pat, hey, man, don't write off Isaiah Davis. And I was interesting. He's the first one to say that because besides that, he's kind of fallen under the radar among Jets analysts and things of talking about
for
him.
Sure.
So I don't think he leaps quite into Braylon Allen territory, and obviously not Breece, but I think really the competition is him and Izzy for that third change of pace. Izzy obviously brings a little bit more of that stylistically speaking, but Isaiah Davis, the jackrabbit, to me, he's a very intriguing player that obviously will get some run on special teams for the New York Jets. But he also, when you look at some of the analytics, combine ran a 4.57 40-yard dash, the 34.5. You go through some of these, the strength profile you see is the bench press, 23 bench press reps. He does have kind of some of that Braylon Allen flavor to the table. So you could get a little bit there, but again, I think he's going to be a spot unless injuries occur.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a ton of Isaiah Davis, honestly, in 2024. I think a lot of it, when we see him, I think it's mostly going to be on special teams. And, I think I think that's the case for Allen, and then after that, you really have not for Allen, for Davis. And then after that, you really have Izzy and Cohen battling out for that 4th spot. And I think whoever lends that spot, both those guys are special teams type players. Whoever lends that, I don't think we should expect anything really from them on the offensive side of the ball. So with that running back 4th spot, it being up for grabs going into training camp, who do you think's going to win that job? Do you think it's going to be Cohen or it's going to be Izzy?
It's a great question because that's what it comes down to. There's the special teams prowess from both of them, quite frankly. Obviously, Tariq Cohen has a more prominent history as a former All-Pro return man. We don't really have that with Izzy. Again, he's only been in the league a year. My early lean is Izzy because Tariq Cohen is the guy that's had all the serious injuries lately, and he's been bouncing around from team to team. I would give the edge to Izzy, but it's not a strong edge. It's not something I feel incredibly confident about, and plus training camp is going to determine that story. I think at a bare minimum, outside of a complete falling out, I think Tariq Cohen's making the practice squad no matter what. And the same could be said for Izzy as one of those guys make the roster. My early lean right now is Tariq Cohen based on his history as an All-Pro, my early lean is Izzy with Tariq right hot on his heels, and we'll see. I think the demise of Izzy has been overblown a little bit because of everything that's happened, but let's see. He's not going to have much of a leash beyond Tariq once we hit camp.
Yes, so I actually take the opposite stance there. I think Cohen has the I think he's a little ahead of Izzy right now. I mean, Robbie Sabo of Jet X Factor, he said during OTAs and minicamp, he saw Xavier Valade taking more reps than Izzy Abandokonda, which I found to be really interesting. But you could make a case why either one of them should be that running back for. My thing with Cohen, I mean, if this is Tariq Cohen 2-3 years ago, I mean, this is a lock. The thing that I'm concerned about with Cohen is he hasn't appeared in the NFL game since week 3 of the NFL season in 2021. So he missed all of 2022, missed all of 2023, missed the most of 2021. So it's like, okay, how does he adjust? How do we get him involved in special teams? And I found it really interesting. The Jets really they didn't give Izzy a ton of reps last season, and they made it obvious that it was mostly due to his blocking. And Nathaniel did not shy away from saying that when we got to about week 14 of the NFL season. So, and also, the Jets sent a statement to Izzy when they drafted Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen, and then also signed Cohen. So it's like, okay, the Jets are really making Izzy work for that job. I have Cohen making the roster right now, but keep in mind, I mean, Izzy still has all of training camp, all of preseason to earn that job. So, just sitting here July 1st, I think it's a little early to draw conclusions, but right now I have Cohen ahead of Izzy.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that take. Again, I think it's kind of a coin flip. And make sure you guys pound that like button, hit subscribe on both of our channels, and grow the community,
Yes.
baby. Every Monday night, we're live here on the show. That's not a bad take to have. Again, you can kind of go either way with it. And hopefully this, as you mentioned, this statement that the Jets sent to Izzy is well received. Pressure makes diamonds. Perhaps adding all this competition to the room brings out another level of Izzy we haven't seen yet, and it makes us fall in love the same way a lot of us did Izzy to the Hizzy and the draft profile and the wonderful story that all happened there. So, yeah.
Yeah, Boy Green Oscar has a question.
I did not see the Jake Asman show, which I'm assuming this is from. So I don't know what this means.
No, I think Oscar is referring to when you most recently joined Jake on the Jake Asman show, and Chiefs fan.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Chiefs fan called him.
Yeah, that was strange, and we all thought that he had like a body under his couch or something. Yeah, I don't know what was happening there. That was bizarre, but the Jake Asman show is a unique place. Yes.
Yeah. So, Boy Green, you want to take some calls?
Yeah, sure.
First up on the In the Huddle hotline is Mr. Fulton Mraz. Mr. Fulton,
Hello.
How you doing today?
Great, how you doing?
Good.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for the call, pal. In the Huddle hotline. I love that name. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm just not feeling myself today, Paul.
Oh, why? What's wrong, man?
I got in a bad car accident.
Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
God,
Just resting.
Well, I'm glad you
feel
glad
better.
you're alive, man. Yeah, please do.
I am. Yeah. So I just need some prayers and everything. So.
Of course.
I'm time for the
Fulton, do you have any Jet questions for Paul and I?
Let's see. So who's going to be the quarterback for the Jets? The quarterback.
God, I hope it's Aaron Rodgers. That's
He stays healthy.
If you're saying quarterback, I hope it's Aaron Rodgers, but I love the room. I love Tyrod Taylor as a reliable backup. Jordan Travis, I think he's going to make the 53-man as almost a redshirt year. Mm-hmm. He's going to be cryogenically frozen over there, but hopefully we get to see him in camp and preseason. That was a gruesome leg injury for those who saw it back in Florida State last year. I feel really great about the room, though. I don't know a position on the roster. We did something with Woody on my afternoon show a couple weeks ago about talking about confidence with positions, and it's hard to feel more confident about the room that it is. That top three is pretty good.
Okay. Yep. And what about let's see. What about the Russia? Do we have one for the new player for for one of the Jets, for like the running.
For Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, the two players the Jets drafted this year.
Okay. So how long would they keep practicing the same practice every single time, or?
Yeah. So we're Fulton. First off, appreciate the call. Thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen seem to be healthy, and we hope they can remain healthy for the 2024 season. And you gotta hope nothing but the best for those two guys. You want to see them kind of come in, develop under a young prodigy, really, in the name of Breece Hall. I mean, we've seen him skyrocket already. And staying with the topic of Breece Hall, I know it's early, but I've already started to speak about it. This 2022 draft class, I mean, it's coming up, and Breece Hall, he wasn't a first-round pick, so we don't have that fifth-year option to pick up for Breece Hall. So the question becomes, when we have to pay these guys 2026, 2027, you get to pick 2 out of the 4, because realistically, I think the Jets only come away with 2 out of the 4. Take it away, Boy Green.
Connor, I don't think I should say this, but I hate you. I don't want to only pay 2 out of the 4. It's like, well, that's too damn bad. If it's 2 of the 4, it has to be Garrett and Sauce. But I'm hoping that, hopefully all 4, obviously. But if you have to pick from that group right now, yeah, again, if it's only 2, I'm picking Sauce and Garrett. They're pillars on both sides of the football. I love Breece, and I want to keep him. Jermaine's an older pass rusher because obviously had a very unique journey to the NFL and JUCO and everywhere 100%. Else that he's gone. But I've loved the leaps he made. I wrote a column about it earlier today when we got the update on Reddit from Rosenblatt saying he does not believe he's getting an extension from the Jets. So that means it's only incentive-based or guaranteeing part of his contract or some combination of both potentially. And Jermaine going from 2.5 sacks to 7.5. The next natural jump of his core is, of course, double-digit sacks. And then what happens will. But, boy, it's got to be Sauce and Garrett. And, again, I think Sauce, to me, is the easiest contract negotiation in history. He's the best corner in football. You give him the best cornerback contract that exists at that point in time, which is next offseason, which will probably be somewhere in the $23-24 million per year range, and lock that in immediately.
Yeah, so the way I think of it is you have those 4 guys. I look and I say, okay, Jermaine Johnson's very talented, but I put him out of the question. I really don't think he's like an option out of those 4. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's very talented, but I'd take Breece, Garrett, and Sauce, all 3, over him in a heartbeat. So I say, Garrett and Sauce. I mean, Garrett's that wide receiver we've wanted. I mean, that next. Hopefully, I look at him. Hopefully, the next like Jericho Cotchery type guy. I really like Wilson, and it's going to be really interesting to see what he could do with future Hall of Fame quarterback, going from one of the worst quarterbacks I think to ever play the game of football, and now going to a Hall to a Hall of Fame level quarterback. It's going to be really interesting to see what Wilson can do, and that's why I think we should. And then the reason I don't want to re-sign Breece though is because if you look at the money that the running backs are getting, I mean, that just keeps falling, and it's so hard to find a wide receiver of Garrett's caliber, just homegrown. I mean, you lock him up, he's going to be the next, like I said, hopefully the next Jericho Cotchery. And then Sauce, I mean, how can you not pay Sauce? He's the next Darrelle Revis. I mean, what he has shown in 2 years in the league is remarkable for a player his age. But we have another caller on the line. Next up on the In the Huddle hotline, I don't have an intro for him, unfortunately. Bobby Midnight.
Hey,
Bobby, how you doing?
Paul, I'm sorry. Boy Green, I missed your show this morning. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You made it up by being available today.
So yeah, I heard you were going to be. I know you guys go on Monday night, so I told Connor, I'll be there. I promise.
Thank you, Bobby.
Wow, congratulations. Bobby, I see you're the founder of Bobby Midnight Enterprises. Congratulations on that.
I think Gator or Jake put that in. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, congratulations.
What happened to me today after my show? I got $70 on Venmo.
I heard that in Venmo. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how you have time to join us on the show. I figured you'd be counting your money right now.
No, that's working up to the 8th. You know, it's the eighth, right?
That's the money you're saving up. Well, by the way, a shameless plug, Jets Patriots. We have a week for people to collect their money for Jets Patriots. So whether you want to go to the game or the tailgate or both, in which Connor already has Jets Patriots tickets, but he's going to the tailgate portion before the game, which is fun.
There we
So
go.
Bobby, save up those shekels. We'd love to have you.
How much is the tickets again? I forgot.
Yeah, the ticket for the game is upper end zone. And yep, that's right. It's $140 per ticket, and then for the tailgate, it's $65. It's all you can eat and drink for like 3 or 4 hours before the game.
It's cheaper than going into the stadium and eat there.
That's probably true. That's a good point. You get a lot. I could say that pretty clearly. You get a lot more bang for your buck in the tailgate.
Yeah, because if you go there, they charge you like $10 for like a beer. 100%. I don't drink beer, but you know how they go. They
yes.
Well, they got to pay all the players, you know.
So Bobby,
I'm sorry, I went off track, Connor.
No, all good. I have a question for you. I know we spoke about this earlier a little. You've been very vocal on how much you like Braylon Allen. So what do you like? What do you like about him so much? And what do you think we could expect from him? Do you think him and Breece are going to be a top 1-2 punch?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because what's that? I forgot who did on Jake's show. They show him running through everything. He's gonna plow through everything. I'm telling you.
Fialco, I think, on the film review.
Yeah, that's it. Oh God, my pal Andrew. Yeah, so I think that's gonna happen. But I think Cohen's gonna win the fourth one, right?
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think.
Izzy's gonna be on the practice squad.
Squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can make a case though for why either one should make the roster, because I think the main concern why fans would rather have Izzy than Cohen is Cohen's health, really. I mean, like I said, he hasn't appeared since very, very early in the 2021 season. He was on the Bears.
Yeah,
he was on the Bears.
Man. Josh's team, from the Sports Fury.
Yeah, he played for the Bears, but he's he's a smaller kind of shifty guy who's competing for that return job. But Bobby, one more thing before we let you go. Terrence Hill has a question for you. Are you going live after this show?
Yes, Terrence Hill, of course. We're gonna have a party. I'll be up for the show tomorrow, Boy Green, I promise.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll have Joe Caparoso on from Badlands, so that's going to be a lot
of fun.
There
we go.
Oh, wait a minute. Badlands. What's the other guy's name?
Connor Rogers.
Connor Roush?
Yeah, Connor Rogers should be on the show in a couple weeks, but I do have Joe Caparoso for tomorrow morning.
Well, I never met the guy. I would like to meet the guy.
Okay, yeah, and a lot of these guys should be at the game. I'll ask Joe tomorrow if he's going. So keep saving up those shekels, Bobby. Got a couple more days.
Oh yeah, we got a whole week, right? We got a whole week.
Yep,
that's right. Yep, you got a week from today.
Yeah,
appreciate the call, Bobby. Really appreciate it.
You leave
have a great.
How long is your show for now?
We'll see. However long this awesome community makes it to be, and still have a couple more topics to touch on. But Bobby, really appreciate the call.
Oh yeah, no problem. We talked a lot before me and Connor before you got in.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
thank you for covering the ground. So I apologize to everybody.
No,
I was in the Syracuse Mets game. So,
of course, all good.
Thanks everybody.
You were doing the radio game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Who won?
Yeah, Syracuse lost. They're playing the Red Sox AAA affiliate. They lost.
Worcester, right? Is that Worcester?
It's Worcester.
Worcester. And tonight too against Washington. No, did they win?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, they lost. I saw it tied when I came home. Oh, they lost.
Yeah, Jose Iglesias hit a home run, and then the bullpen obviously blew the game in the bottom of the 10th inning. Cause that's how the Mets play.
I hate when they put that stupid run on second. That just destroys people. It's okay. I get out of here. I got a big mouth.
Of course. Thank you. All good. Appreciate the call.
Oh, of course. Okay. I know.
Appreciate the call. Thank you for the call, Bobby Midnight. Always a great one. But Boy Green, we spoke a little there on Tariq Cohen and Izzy. Both of them being used on special teams. I know we touched on kickoff returns a little briefly when Johnny called in last week. Who do you think is going to win that job? You have Jakeem Grant, you have Malachi Corley, you have Jakeem Grant, Malachi Corley, Tariq Cohen, Izzy, and Xavier Gibson. Those are the 6 guys that are competing for the job right now. And I know you mentioned you liked Malachi Corley. Who do you like winning that job?
That's a good question. By the way, I just want you to know, Jakeem Grant only got a tryout. He didn't make the roster. I just double checked.
Oh, he didn't.
Roster.
I could have sworn I saw him. I thought it went through training camp.
No. That was just a tryout ahead of time. I just double checked on the Jets roster.
Oh yes, that's what they had. That's what they had with Tack McKinley too, and they ended up signing McKinley.
Yeah, Tack McKinley ended up. He's on the 90-man, but Jakeem Grant did not make it. Who, by the way, I would love if they investigate that later, but did not make it initially. But I'm sure he's on their list. But I think Xavier Gibson, as Salah said, has first dibs on that return job. Although I think obviously he's going to have the inside track to the starting slot job over Corley early until Corley potentially takes that over, which of course could affect his return ability on how that's going to work, especially with Mike Williams and his recovery. Maybe they don't want Gibson pulling double duty. So I think he would have first dibs, but the next person I'd go to is probably Corley because it's less while there's going to be a lot of complicated features to special teams in terms of the return game because there's so much we don't know. I would probably trust Corley just to get the ball and make things happen as opposed to the complicated nature of the New York Jets offense and him coming from, Western Kentucky to the NFL level. I think there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. So, yeah, long story short, Corley would be my main squeeze in the return game. You can have up to 2 returners back there in the returning zone, but Corley would be the lean, and X, of course, obviously would be in that conversation as well.
Yeah, so you like Malachi Corley a lot, and I don't hate Malachi Corley. I think he's solid. I don't expect huge things out of him. I think it's in terms of offensive production, I really think it's 350 yards to 450 yards. I think it's somewhere in that window. I'm not expecting a ton out of Corley. When all's said and done, I said it, I think Corley's, if Corley wants to get involved in that offense a lot, I think he needs to send a statement by winning that kickoff job. I think that's kind of what the Jets did with Xavier Gibson last season. I mean, they were kind of stringing him along in the kickoff game. I mean, everyone expected McCole Hardman to be the kickoff guy. They're like, no, Xavier Gibson's our starting return man. They kind of string Gibson along, and they're like, okay, week 4 comes, and Gibson's a part of the offense, playing that slot. So yeah, in terms of who starts at slot, I definitely think it's Xavier Gibson. What we saw from him, and what we've heard so far from OTAs and minicamp, Gibson seems to be the main guy for that. And just staying with the topic of special teams, another wide receiver who I expect to have absolutely no role in this offense, but to be the Jets' lead specialist is Irv Charles. What is your stance on kind of reserving a roster spot just for a specialist? Do you have an issue with that, or is it okay, this guy's our specialist, I'm all cool with reserving a spot, kind of like what the Jets did with Justin Hardy?
You mentioned it right there at the end. There's exceptions to all rules, and Justin Hardy was a Pro Bowl special teamer, and that's somebody that obviously was listed at corner, but as we talked about last week, had one defense, again, quality over quantity, baby. He had only one singular snap on defense his entire run with the Jets, which is crazy to think about. So, while he had to be listed at some position, it's not like, you're playing the college football video game and it's ATH, athlete, he could kind of float wherever. Hardy was purely special teams, but he was listed at corner. Irv Charles, I'm going to be honest, I'm not so sure I'm just great with keeping him on the roster, to be candid. I heard Thomas Morstead at the end of the season being very candid. This is as soon as the season's over, they're doing exit interviews with the Jets team reporters. And he was very blunt about the lessons that Irv Charles needs to learn to be at this level consistently. Said he's talented, of course, but he's got a way to go. So I don't think Irv Charles is just locked to make the roster like everyone else. I'm not saying you are, but there's a lot of people in our Jets universe that believe he's just locked to make the roster. I think a sneaky guy that has a history with special teams is Isaiah Oliver, who was converted from corner to safety. Maybe he's the Justin Hardy replacement that no one's talking about. Everyone's talking about Irv Charles, but it could be Isaiah Oliver, who, again, when you look at his Pro Football Reference snap percentages, he has a history of special teams production. And it was a smart move to jump over to safety because at corner they're locked in. I think they're 5 deep at the corners are making in no particular order: Sask Adna, Michael Carter II, DJ Reed, Brandon Eccles, and of course Pontez Stiggers. So there's no real room of wiggle there. But at safety, there certainly is, and I think he's going to be a special teams prowess. So to answer your overall question, I don't have a problem with it for the right guy. Not just any guy, but the right guy. Okay, you can put him into the puzzle. But some rando, and that's probably a little rude, but Irv Charles to me is a practice squad player. I don't have him making the 53-man roster, and I'll do a 53-man projection here in a couple weeks before camp. But no, I don't currently have him making the team.
Yeah, so another guy who's, kind of emerged as maybe an option for the specialist, I don't know about a favorable one, is Brandon Eccles. I mean, Jets have seemed to like him, but he's recently gotten into some legal trouble, which will most likely hurt him when all is said and done. But Boy Green, we have two more callers on the In the Huddle hotline. We're gonna go B-Mac and then to Tommy, the OG Jet fan. We'll go to B-Mac first. B-Mac, how you doing?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Doing well.
From this morning to the night, B-Mac. Look at your contributions. Look at your dedication, pal.
Yes, 2 days in a row. Twice in one day. We meet again. Hey Connor.
B-Mac, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man.
Good.
You are gonna have a bright future one day in this. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it.
You are doing really good, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, B-Mac, what happened to the TV? It was on earlier today, and then you turned it off. What happened? It was on earlier today. What did the power go out in your house? Can you blink twice if you need help?
A light's still on. Yeah, I still got my lights on. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Good. I just like to change it up, switch it up.
No, yeah. That's fair. That's what a remote control's for. I feel you. Anywho, your question?
Yeah, but I do got a question or two. Well, I do got two questions. One is not really Jet related, well, sort of. Well, both quarterbacks play for the Packers and the Jets, so I guess you could say it is Jet related. But,
yep.
Now, Connor, I know you young, so you probably didn't see Favre play. Maybe I don't know. You probably did your research, maybe, and saw like 95, 90, 94, 96, 7 Favre. But I know Rodgers. I know when he started, he probably wasn't.
He wasn't born yet. Yeah, he was. Connor was not born. He was not on the planet when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of Favre, he was a great quarterback in Green Bay, obviously, and then he kind of came to the Jets at the end of his career, moseyed on down, and kind of quit on the team a little. So I give you that, but hope Aaron Rodgers does not do it, and it does not seem like Aaron Rodgers is going to do that. I mean, the second he's been in the Jets building, he's really been all in on this organization.
Who do y'all think is the better quarterback? Do y'all, to me personally, I'm leaning with Rodgers, but as again, it's not about me. It's about y'all. Two questions. Who do y'all think who's the better quarterback between the two?
I love Brett Favre. I'm going to be honest. He was the ultimate gunslinger. He just had so much fun playing the position. And again, while everyone remembers Brett Favre as his quitter and some weird text messages to a massage therapist when he was here at the Jets, the fact of the matter is that Brett Favre in that 8-3 start was a terrific quarterback for the Jets. That included a 6-touchdown game against the Arizona Cardinals. Yes. A brilliant game that I remember, which was spectacular in that 2008 season. So there was a lot to love there with Favre and the breadth of his career, quite frankly. But if I have to be straight up and talk about who's the better guy, it's got to be Rodgers. When you talk about touchdown and interception ratio, when you talk about completion percentage, when you talk about just the beauty of the ball of throwing it, again, Brett Favre is awesome. And I don't want to crap on Brett Favre because, again, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And when I do debates on the radio where we're talking top 5 quarterbacks of all time, I always bring up Brett Favre as somebody that's got to be in there. And that's true to what Hawk just said, the Hawk Tua. What he just said here is that, quite frankly, Brett Favre, and Rich Eisen used this, so I can't steal it, but I will cite him with it. Brett Favre used the Jets as a transfer portal to get to the Minnesota Vikings, where he had this awesome 33 touchdown, 7 interception season, and he was brilliant with the Vikings, which should make Jet fans only feel worse because he sucked with us at the end, 22 touchdowns, 22 picks. He leaves and he takes the Vikings to the friggin' NFC Championship game as one of the best years of his career. And the Jets are like, what the hell was that, pal? But no, I would lean towards Rodgers, but Brett Favre, again, I can't say it enough, is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
So, and then what about you, Connor?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I was not alive to see Brett Favre play. But from what I've seen, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, just from what I've seen so far, Aaron Rodgers, he's wanted to be a New York Jet. I mean, it's from the second he announced it on the Pat McAfee show to where we're standing right here today. And Boy Green, you quoted Rich Eisen. That was a great statement by Eisen. I mean, he kind of used the Jets as a transfer portal to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that's a really solid way to put it. Again, Rodgers is a guy. He's a leader. I don't care what NFL national media says. I don't care what fans say. Rodgers is a leader. He was born a leader. He is a leader. You know, that's who Rodgers is, and I'm really looking forward to see what he could do with this very talented roster this season.
And BMAC, before you ask your second question, can you answer it yourself as a Packers guy? What is your answer to that question?
Yeah.
About who's the?
Yeah, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. Packers boy. Which, if you had to pick, you had a gun to your head and you had to pick one or the other, who are you picking?
Yeah, I just said right before. I said it's Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Okay. Is it close?
I don't. Well, it is close. Well, first of all, they're both Hall of Famers, so it's gonna be
close.
You know
Right. Of course.
It's not like one's a scrub and then one's a Hall of Famer, one's a scrub. No, they're both Hall of Famers. But if I have to, but as far as Favre was fun to watch. Like I said, Favre really got me into the Packers. Favre was fun to watch. As far as, like I said, gunslinger. You don't know which which pass is going to be. It's going to be touchdown. It's going to be an interception. Sometimes Favre can make you jump up and scream and celebrate, and then sometimes he can make you frown and cry and go to bed depressed. But
that throw in the NFC Championship game, Viking Saints, where they're around midfield and he throws it across his body to the left side where it gets picked, which is kind of what the Jordan Love pick was in the 49ers for no reason. He just goes, and the 49ers pick it off, Drain Greenlaw gets it. You're like, whoa, Jordan, you've been great the whole game. What the hell? Brett Favre throw it across the field. That's a number one quarterback no, and he just did it. But again, in a way, it's poetic because you take the good and the bad with a guy like Favre. Like, he's going to make those terrible hair-pulling throws, but he makes so many brilliant ones that, you got to kind of take it with the good and the bad.
Rodgers is not like that. He's not going to make a boneheaded pick to lose the game. He's going to, there's going to be times that, he does have his flaws, but, Rodgers is a guy that's going to, he's more consistent. If he does throw a pick, it's going to be like someone running a wrong route or the ball bounced off the wide receiver's hands to another defender. But he's not going to be have you scratching your head like, what was that throw? Like Favre did or what Jordan Love did. Like you said, he just fling across his body. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
What an idiot! I know.
To march down the field. But personally, Rodgers. But again, both great players, both great quarterbacks, both gave me great memories. But I have to give Rodgers the slight edge just because of the efficiency, and he didn't he protect the football.
And each of them gave you a Super Bowl. Brett Favre gave you one, and Aaron Rodgers gave you one. So not too gosh darn shabby, Mr. Packers guy. Oh, man, franchise quarterback Brett Favre. Oh, wait, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, another franchise quarterback Jordan Love. Like, ugh, give me the freaking gag reflex, pal. You guys just fall into quarterbacks. Must be nice. Well,
let's hope that Rodgers can give y'all back like John.
For God's sakes. I hope.
Did for the Denver Broncos. So
BMAC.
And then, and I got a second question real quick.
Yes, sure.
And this is jet related.
Okay.
About y'all safeties.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that people are really sleeping on y'all safeties. Like I do like Chuck Hawk a lot, and I know he
Yeah.
came off the torn ACL, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's gonna be a sleeper for y'all. And I think Tony Adams, like he would like Tony, like he did really good last year because I did watch y'all games and he really produced at the end of last year. So I do like y'all safeties, and I think people are sleeping on them.
And you're sleeping on one of the guys. You didn't mention him, Tempur-Pedic Jet fan. What about Ashton Gosh darn Davis, baby? My boy from Cal, the former track star. Yeah, let's not sleep on him, okay? You didn't even mention him in your sleepy, weepy, gosh darn rant there. Ashton Davis, remember the name, for
Yeah,
Pete's
so
sake.
I look at the Jets safety room, and my concern
Mm-hmm.
is that we have Chuck Clark coming off an ACL injury. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen him since 2022. We don't really know what he could do. Tony Adams, I mean, I like him, but still inconsistent play last season.
For
Inconsistent
sure.
play last season. Then after that, Ashton Davis, I don't feel totally comfortable with him taking on an increased role in in 2024, and then JBC, Jarek Bernard Converse, 90% of Jet fans probably don't even know who JBC is, as we didn't see him really at all
Yeah, that's a
last
good
year.
point. Yeah.
And you know, a name out there.
Mr.
He's
Irrelevant, Jalen Key. He's another one, obviously.
Jalen Key, and then someone who who's on the market. He's expensive, but if the Jets want to win a Super Bowl in this window, Woody Johnson's gonna have to make financial compromises. I'm
Justin
talking
Simmons.
about Justin freaking Simmons. Justin Simmons, sign him. Sign him. I don't care how much money he costs. I mean, this guy is a ball hawk. He makes that safety room go from average to below average to an above average unit. Him being able to mentor Tony Adams, even a guy like JBC, a 6th round pick out of LSU, Jalen Key, Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, just a great piece, and I think that could really just convert the whole safety room, like I said, and from an average to below average unit to an above average top tier unit in the league. But boy, Green, we have two more callers on the In the
Sure.
Huddle hotline. We have
Yeah.
Tommy, aka OG Jet fan, who we'll be going to right now, and then after that we have Johnny Boy. So let's bring Tommy on the show. Tommy, how you doing, man?
Connor, Boy Green. What's up, my guys?
Look at that hat, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Like the
It,
bucket.
it, it was signed by everyone out on Long Island, the
Oh,
whole
that's dope, man.
Asmaniacs. Yeah, like about at least
Nice.
9 or 10 I got autographs with Asmaniacs,
I love that. There you go,
including
baby.
including Jake. Yeah,
That's so cool.
but I'm gonna be quick, guys. I'm not gonna be long. I'm getting
Okay.
tired. I got much respect for you, Connor and Paul. Like,
Thank you.
you
Appreciate
guys
it.
are awesome, dude. Awesome.
Thank you,
Much
man.
respect. Real quick, I just wanted to say on the topic
Okay.
of like, I think our returners is going to be Xavier Gibson, and I think Malachi Corley is going to be back there because with the new rule, you got two guys back there. And Connor, I think Malachi Corley is going to be a little bit better than you think with the 350 yards. I think
Okay.
he's going to be a beast, dude. I just think just because he has that heart, and that's what can take you over. He has that Wayne Corvette heart, like the NFL edge that can take you over as that wide receiver, and the size of
Ye-
his arms and his neck and his legs, like he's a monster. And then real quick about the Rodgers, um,
Yeah.
Brett Favre was a gunslinger. Like
Mhm.
he took the risk. He didn't care about throwing interceptions. Aaron Rodgers is more precise. He's more mentally aware of not wanting to throw it into danger. More of a check down, would throw it like safer passes. So I would take Aaron Rodgers, definitely. But
Mhm.
Brett Favre's definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback as well. So like it's tough, but definitely Aaron Rodgers. We get to go. And you guys, I just keep doing what you're doing. Much respect. I got love for you guys, and that's it, man. Love you guys. Jets, 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 baby.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Tommy.
it, Tommy.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah. That's awesome. Connor, you are Connor Long of JetsXFactor.com is the number one Malachi Corley hater in the universe. So, Tommy, thanks for supporting my kick return options. I knew you were an incredibly smart fan for the moment I saw that bucket hat and that beautiful brain that's inside there because you agreed with me. But yeah, Connor Long, an absolute Malachi Corley hater. You hate to see it.
Before we get into Tommy's call, we do have a super chat, so that will cut the line.
Okay.
Jet it out with the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Let's go, fellas. Talk that Jets talk. Appreciate it. Jet it out. And
thanks, brother.
Appreciate all the support. Like Boy Green says, that's the paid way to support our shows. The free way that helps us tremendously is just hit that like button to subscribe. It just provides our content to an even larger audience, expands this already awesome Jets community. So yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Boy Green's channel at BoyGreen25, subscribe to me at NYFlyJetsTalk. It really means a lot. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers and very, very close to monetization in terms of watch hours. So, like I said, hit that subscribe button and smash
Connor
that
needs
like
some
button.
allowance. He needs some walking around money for Pete's sake. Help this brother out.
So in terms of Tommy's call there with the Malachi Corley thing, I hope Malachi Corley proves me wrong. Like, I'm rooting for him, and I'm the first to tell you I'm a big fan of Malachi Corley. I mean, you get a player of his grit, the Yak King. I mean, he's the opposite of Adam Lazard. Not lack of effort, not gonna be dropping balls. He's gonna run every play out. That's what I like about Corley, and I think he'll be a very solid player for the Jets. I just don't expect a ton out of him that rookie year, and that's okay. You look at the receiver room; it's headlined by Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams, and then you have Xavier Gibson, who showed a ton of promise during OTAs and minicamp. We don't need to rely on Corley to be a. We don't need to rely on Corley really year one to make a huge impact. And I know, Boy Green, you were the first guest ever on my podcast, and we've had opposing views on certain situations.
Before.
I remember
That's
when
true.
when you were my first guest, we went back and forth and Devontae Adams debate. You were a big fan of Devontae Adams. We have infrared Jets in the chat. Corley is gonna go crazy. I hope he does. I seem to be the only one who's down on Corley. Just look like you have Murdoch. I expect Corley to be ahead of Gibson. So I hope Corley proves me wrong, but as a Jet fan, I have so much experience with this. I expect such big things out of rookies, and then it just never happens. So I feel like if I lower my expectations, I'll be happy if Corley produces literally anything over 400 yards.
Wow. Does it feel lonely over there, Connor? It looks pretty lonely in that room of yours with all the Malachi Corley haters. Very, very small room.
I see Johnny Boy shaking his head back. His head backstage, actually. So we'll bring him on the show. Johnny Boy next up on the hotline. Johnny, how you doing?
Look at the chest hair. Wow.
Oh, just chilling, man. Just got back to the cribbo. But hey, Connor, bro, this is the first time that you've given a take that I gotta shake my head at you, bro.
That's cool.
Corley is going to eat, bro. That dude is a weapon that we have not had in a very, very long time. The build is there. The guy will be able to absorb some of those hits in that slot. And then, Boy Green, we talked about it on your show. They'll be surprised if that dude is a returner, right? And it's that guy there. Like, again, he's freaking in the guest house of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you want to know who's not? You want to know someone who's not? Connor. He's not in the guest house of Aaron Rodgers for these gosh darn Corley takes. I wouldn't invite him over either. Nope. Thanksgiving, not invited. Him or the rest of Aaron Rodgers' family, apparently. Neither invited.
Dude, they're like freaking meeting at the refrigerator. Like, hey, man, you want to milk? Yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
100%. That relationship is there. The chemistry is palpable. I don't know what Connor's thinking or drinking, man. Not sure.
So, at least I have someone on board with me. Mr. Bonesy says I think Gibson's gonna get the most chances. So maybe a different situation, but yeah, at least I have someone on board with me in terms of
Bonesy's a big Corley fan too. Don't let him. He's just trying to
I think he's just trying to play nice. Yeah. He's like, Connor, this poor little kid. For God's sakes, he's like, geez.
He's rocking a Corley jersey, by the way.
Yeah.
See, the thing. I think Corley, when he gets the ball, he'll be good. When he gets the ball, he'll be good. I think he'll be solid, but here's the thing. I just don't think he's going to get a ton of looks. I just really don't think. I think it's going to help that he's in the guest house of Rodgers. I think that's great for Corley. I mean, get to build a connection with future Hall of Fame quarterback as a rookie. I mean, I bet you any rookie in the NFL, any NFL player would die to live in the guest house of Aaron Rodgers and get to know Rodgers. So when he sees opportunities, I think he will do great things. But my concern is I just don't think he's going to get enough targets.
Okay, we'll see. But like I said, Connor, right now you're in my virtual, guest house. Okay, so try to absorb some knowledge and energy that I have coming over from here, for Pete's sake. Try to help yourself out.
I'm so high on Corley, bro, that I think that he's gonna win like Offensive Rookie of the Year, like because it normally is quarterbacks, right?
Sure, yeah.
But the quarterbacks that are out right now, I mean, what's his name gonna go do with the Bears? Do you guys really truly believe that the Bears are ready to take a step like what CJ Stroud did, and that dude's gonna do that? I don't think so, right? I mean, so there's a big chance, there's a big possibility again. And the other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm out after this, is Breece Hall is going to feast, bro. He is going to be that guy that's going to be doing what your dad's Papa Eston used to have over there in Dallas, that other guy that used to go like this all the time. That's what we're about to have with Breece, bro. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. Hey, Connor, keep doing your thing, man. So, X Factor, holla, throw your X's up, baby.
Thank you, appreciate
it. Green, you the man, dog. Always, dog.
Appreciate you.
Man, I'll see you 7:30 Coffee Club. You already know.
Can't wait. Damn straight. And by the way, Johnny brought this up. I have the Offensive Rookie of the Year history. Good news for Johnny. 2 of the last 3 years, it's been a wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase. Heard of him? Malachi Corley next on that list? God only knows, baby. God only knows.
Yeah, Connor, you got to get on the train, bro. You're going to get left behind, dog.
That's right. Toot. We ain't stopping.
JETS, baby. Jets. Let's go.
Appreciate the call, Johnny. Boy, have a great rest of your evening. You can find Johnny on VR's channel, him and his uncle VR, to 411 on New York Sports. And then coming in August, Snowball and Johnny, Jets Worldwide on YouTube. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of debate as to who's going to get the most reps in the receiver room. And like I said, I think Corley will do well. I just don't think he's going to get enough targets. And now the question becomes with Corley. Gibson, I feel like, has kind of broke free from this kind of talk. You really, who do you think is going to get more looks this season, targets? Do you think it's going to be Lazard or Corley? I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance that Corley can beat out Lazard, but it's going to be really interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers puts up with Lazard, given that he brought him here. He's his friend. We've seen from Hard Knocks, though, Aaron Rodgers does not tolerate lack of effort drops like Alan Lazard showed us.
Yeah, and we've seen plenty of his friends flop. Billy Turner, who was brought in and flopped. Randall Cobb had a lot of struggles and flopped in a lot of ways. So they've brought in Packers people that have not done well. Lazard obviously is on that. Tim Boyle is on that list of guys that disgusting. Who have not performed well. I will give a slight lean. This isn't what you asked, but in the same breath, is that I slightly lean towards Bonesy, where I think it's X early. Xavier Gibson being the guy early, but I think that the job can be stolen from him eventually, and that could lead X to more return and then Corley more forward, or vice versa potentially on the other side. Again, where Corley is going to flash is coming up in 3 weeks. When training camp starts, you put the pads on. You get some Brutus beefcake rolling around of camp. It's hard for him to stand down OTAs when you're dancing around t-shirt shorts because you can't show that physicality. You can look good and you can look all yoked up, but really it's when the pads are on and he's trucking a few fools and allowing secondary members to make business decisions. Like, oh, do I want to try to tackle Corley? Probably not, because he's going to run through you. So that's where he will stride, and that's where he can make up some ground in this wide receiver competition. That's in camp in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned training camp there. Corley has still not been signed to a contract by the Jets. Do you have any concern regarding that issue, or you're like, nope, pen to paper, that'll be done any day?
Yeah, Zip and Pip. I think I don't know if it's going to be done any day with the holiday here, but again, players normally are players are scheduled to report on July 23rd, and sometimes players come in a few days early. I think when he comes in, it's him, Joe Douglas, and his agent all get in a room, bing, boom, bam. I think that's taken care of the week of camp. So I don't think he misses any time whatsoever. I think that's all handled appropriately.
I believe Corley's reporting July 18th, I think it is, for the rookies.
So there you go, for rookies. There you go. Perfect, exactly what I said. Players, so in his particular case, rookies come early. That's a very easy before the full, like they don't even work out. Like I said, the first practice isn't until the 24th. So he almost shows up a week before practice starts. That should be plenty of time for everyone to figure it out.
Agreed. One last topic before we wrap here. It's it's Connor Hughes officially confirmed it today. Aaron Rodgers. Yes. The rumors were true. He was in Egypt. Boy Green, you know the way NFL national media used this. What are your thoughts when it's all said and done? We found out where he was. He was in Egypt.
We did. Where's Waldo was where's Aaron Rodgers, and it finds out he's in Egypt. I saw in some follow-up replies from Connor Hughes that it was a 3-week trip, so he was gone for almost a month in Egypt, apparently, according to Connor Hughes' sources and conversations. I think, and I'll talk about this on the show tomorrow with Joe Caporoso. So that answers a lot of questions. A lot of what was in the piece from Connor Hughes of how teammates felt about it, they were cool. Spoiler alert. But you guys can read the full piece and get it from Connor. But it answered a lot of the questions. I have one remaining question. Why in God's green earth? So a lot of what was in the Connor piece was this was a pre-planned vacation. In the middle of Rodgers' torn Achilles, he said, you know what, let me try to get, a motivational piece of meat on the treadmill. Let me give myself something to look forward to. I'm going to book a trip for Egypt next summer sometime to get away from everything, which, by the way, is what football players should do, get away from things. So he planned this super far in advance before the schedule was released in terms of the offseason schedule for the players. Schedule comes out. He's like, geez, I already booked this thing. Hey, guys, is it cool? They're like, we won't excuse it, but you're cool. Like, in there, he said he reached out to players on the team, and they said they had no issues, no qualms with it whatsoever. So all that's addressed. All that's, nothing. The thing I don't understand is, again, Rodgers told the team as soon as he saw there's a conflict, he's like, hey, there's a conflict here, and let them know weeks, if not months in advance. Why couldn't he move the trip? Okay, it's a 3-week vacation to Egypt. What difference does that make if that's on June 1st or July 1st? That part I don't understand. So that is a question Rodgers is going to be asked at the Lake Tahoe event, which, by the way, is coming up in 9 days from today. It's technically 8 days because we're about to be at midnight in 45 minutes. But that's 8 days away is the Lake Tahoe event. I'm sure he's going to be doing media there. And then there's media at training camp. People are going to be like, okay, cool. So we heard it's an Egypt trip. Why didn't you move it? As soon as you heard the thing, move your vacation. Who cares? You've got a gajillion dollars, Aaron Rodgers. You could have switched a couple of flights, no problems. Why didn't you? So that will be the question that still remains. Ultimately, none of that matters. I love Egypt too. Sounds like a cool place. I've never been there. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Yu-Gi-Moto, Joey Wheeler, all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all Blue Eyes White Dragon and pharaohs and all that kind of thing. If I wasn't a football guy, like doing like shows and I tried to play football professionally and all that stuff, and if none of that happened, I would have been like an archaeologist or something, because Egypt just seems so freaking cool. Pharaohs and all that kind of stuff. I've never told anyone that before, but you know what? Boom. I'm just throwing it out there into the universe. So that all stuff is super fascinating, but that's the one question that kind of looms here. Why in God's green earth did he not move it? But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because it won't affect the season. But that's my overall thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, what does it matter? He was at vast majorities of OTAs. He saw more reps. Hey, maybe he wanted a break from football for a little. Were people going this crazy when Tom Brady missed a large chunk of training camp when he was with the Buccaneers because he needed a break from football for a period? No, but it's Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Of course, they're going to get ripped apart. One more question before we end here. Sure. Infrared Jets. Connor, are you going to be at the home opener are you going to be at the home opener? Boy Green. Oh, go. I just guess
it's hard. No, it's not your fault. There's a lot of verbiage here, but yes, are you going to be at the home opener with your boy Green?
Yeah. I'm bringing my son Gizmo to the tailgate before the game. Infrared, I will not, unfortunately, not be sitting with everyone, but I will be at the tailgate. So looking forward to meeting you and your son, and looking forward to seeing you, Boy Green, in person for the first time. Getting to meet Nick Shine, everyone, some other people will be there. So really looking forward to it. Boy Green, right as we wrap, do you have any info to share with all the listeners about the group buy?
Yes, and it's exactly what just happened. Literally, I don't want to show this for privacy reasons, but seconds ago, someone just bought tailgate tickets to the thing that's going to happen. So, shout out to this person again. I won't share their personal information, but what you can do is one of two things. So you could do what Connor's doing, right? He already has a ticket situation figured out with him and his family, so he's not going to be sitting with us in the upper end zone, but he's going to the tailgate. This individual that literally just bought tickets seconds ago, that sent them into me, is doing the same thing as Connor. He bought 2 tailgate tickets and he's going to the tailgate portion. So you can do either or. You can buy just tickets and tailgate somewhere else. That's another option. If you have a other tailgating thing you're doing and you don't want to, double dip, that's fine. I totally understand. And you can still sit with us at the game, or the other way where you're doing the tailgate portion and then sitting somewhere else in the dome, or quite frankly, you're doing both. So yes, the ticket price is $140 a pop per ticket. That's for the game. And then the tailgate option is $65. So if you go to any of my youtube.com/boygreen25, where we're live right now and also on Connor's channel, it's in the live of all of my Boy Green daily shows. There's all the information, but I'll give it to you guys one more time. My email is Paul AESDENJR@gmail.com. That's how you can pay me on PayPal and Venmo. Again, Paul the letter ESDEN at JR. Paul the letter ESDENJR at gmail.com. Excuse me. And if you guys have any questions, I've had people do that. They've reached out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, saying, hey, Paul, they have additional questions about the package or the food or the drinks or what's available or anything. You guys can reach out on social media at BoyGreen25. I've been answering plenty of questions in my Instagram DMs and other things of that nature. If you have questions about this event before you pay. But here is the kicker, is that we need all the money in by July 8th. That is a week from today. So you have a week to lock in your spot. And as Nick Shine has told me several times, we can't stop the train. Once the train leaves, you're out. So you have to express interest. You got to throw money around. You got to do all that kind of stuff. But it's a wonderful thing. All day today, we've gotten, I think, 5 or 6 people bought tickets today to the game through me. And then 5 or 6, 7 tailgate options all were today. So things are moving and grooving. There's no limit. So the more people, the merrier. You can bring family with you. You can come solo, whatever the case. But I want to meet as many of you as possible. I've never met Connor before, so this is going to be the weirdest thing in history. Connor's probably taller than I am, for God's sake. So that'll be kind of weird. We're taking the picture together, and I'm down here and he's up here because he's like 6'7" or something. So it's going to be awesome, though, to meet all of you guys there. So if you're on the fence, I just can't bang the table loud enough. Connor was on the fence, and then we found out that his dad's taking him after all. So Jets Patriots, you want to be there. Home opener. It's going to be awesome. Again, guys, make sure you go there. And again, reach out to me for any details about buying tickets or tailgate packages.
Of course, Boy Green. I don't know how tall you are, but right now I'm standing at 5'6", so I do not know if I'm taller than you.
You are taller than me. Oh my! Are you really 5'6"?
Yes, I am 5'6".
Wow, you're taller than me. That's uncomfortable. So we really will have that picture, which is going to look very strange. So I thought I was kidding, when I said that, but apparently not. So wow, that'll be awkward. But anywho, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
Of course, Boy Green. Episode 2 has completed. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I just first off, like I said, if you ever have a second episode, that means it lasted beyond the debut. That's good, and I love that we have these crazy people in here. We're on a Monday evening on July 1st. People should be spending time with their families probably and sleeping like any normal human being, but somehow people are here on a live Jets show because all these people are freaks, and I just love it. It's a special group. This Jets community. I will just say we just came up with this brand new show. And how welcoming they are for the second episode of a show. It's awesome. And hey, any star power I can absorb from Connor of being in his presence is good for my brand. It's good for business. So hell yes, I will do this as long as I possibly can.
Boy Green, really appreciate you. Great show together. And everyone, thank you guys for watching. Can't thank you enough. I mean, it's 11:22 on the Eastern Standard Time right now. So, love that you guys are all here. Nate, appreciate it, my man. Like I said, everyone, thank you guys for watching. And as always, JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.